Today, I'd like to do a piece on a guy I met in Leavenworth in 1994. His name is Flav, Clarence Robertson. I end up knowing Flav when Flav had a life sentence, and I met him in the visiting room. He was on A2, and everybody used to always tell me about this guy. He was out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and this guy was one of the only guys I kind of ever met that was in Baton Rouge, that was in Angola with his father. This guy was one of the most locoest dudes I ever met in the Fed system. He was one of the guys that was in Baton Rouge that was one of the major guys in the city that was doing a lot of stuff in the city. I ended up meeting him. I ended up meeting Small Change, Sean, and a few other of his crime partners. But I didn't know at first exactly what these guys was in jail for. And until later on, I ended up running into him and his crime partners in Lompoc. But to make a long story short about this guy, these guys actually broke Flav out of jail. I think they was hiding in the attic of the hospital, and when they brought Flav in, they came out and they escaped out of the hospital prison. But I ended up meeting this guy because this guy was a known figure in his city, and I was talking to him, and I was talking to a few of his crime partners as we penetrated through the federal system. We ended up landing in Lompoc. While in Lompoc, his brother was there, and his brother was real cool, but his brother was one of the guys that helped him escape. And later on, I come to find out that this guy was kind of like a guy from Louisiana that kind of like kin to me. And we was always talking about different things. And he ran with the guys from Kreglan Gaines Sr that was in the feds, Sinbad, a lot of the A-Trays that I ran into that knew him, and they knew him from LA, and they knew he was from Louisiana. And we end up going to Lompoc, and I didn't even really know that he knew a guy named Pena, Pena is one of the Puerto Rican guys that went to jail inside of Louisiana. And one day, me and Flav was always see this white guy, and we used to always ask this white guy, talk to him about different things, and the white guy was a boxing champ inside of Angola. And one day Flav told the white guy, he said, man, Rich, I think his name was Rich. He said, man, you know this guy right here? He said, yeah, man, this guy named Fish, he's from Zawali. And the white guy said, Zawali? He said, man, you from Zawali, right, Fish? I said, yeah, I'm from Zawali. He said, man, Zawali had a boxing team that used to come in Angola, and we had to box them guys, and them guys sure can't fight. And he was like, yeah, you really from Zawali? I said, yeah, man, my father is from Zawali. My brother's a Calhoun. I'm a Calhoun. My brother's a Marlboro. My other brother's a Perry. And we was all in the same prison together. And we used to always talk about Angola, talk about boxing. And I come to know him, and I come to know Flav, and I come to know all these guys that was from Louisiana that was way down in Lompoc. But to make a long story short with this guy Flav, the first time I ended up running into Flav was in Leavenworth. And while I was in Leavenworth, I noticed him always hanging out, doing things, but I end up going to Victorville, Atwater, and while in Atwater, Flav ended up coming up there. And while Flav was there, we was always hanging out, talking, and doing different things. But today, I had an opportunity to end up getting out of prison, and Flav got out of prison, and we've been out of prison talking to each other. And Flav wrote a book called The Mind of a Lunatic, and I told him that I would look at his book and do certain things. But one of the things that caught my eye with this guy is he always watched and seen a lot of things in the legal law library. And I knew that if Flav ever got out of prison, it was an opportunity for me to get out of prison. So one day a guy named Bo from Chicago told me, he said, man, you know they let Flav and Small Change and all them guys out of prison? And I say, man, I know that's God, because if they let Flav out, I'll be able to get out. And right after that, I end up getting out. And I wrote Flav, and I say, Flav, what's going on, man? He said, Fish, I'm going to send you some pictures. And he sent me some pictures, and it was Donkey on the pictures. It was his brother on the pictures, and he had his own T-shirt company and his daughter owned beauty shops in Baton Rouge. And he told me that, man, he said, look, man, I'm going to send you some money, and I'm going to send you some pictures. But it's a guy up there named Kreglan Gaines, the one that Bootsy be rapping about. And I said, yeah, man, I actually be talking to him every day. And he was like, yeah, man, that's a good dude. He raised dogs. They found $4 million in his wall, and he would be a good guy for you to get to be familiar with, because he don't have a life sentence, and you'd be able to know him. So we all took pictures. I took pictures with Kreglan Gaines, which is a real peculiar guy, because I always watched him. He was a smooth guy, and it's just something about the Louisiana culture that I liked. And this is about Baton Rouge. This is about Louisiana. This is about Master P, C Murder, and all of these guys out of Louisiana. And it became like a family to me, because I was in Baton Rouge one time, and I bought this Stingray vet from this guy, and I heard that he had got killed. And there was a big old thing down there, because I went down there at a famous restaurant down there that everybody goes to. And we always, been talking about what we're going to do when we get out, and how the guys, because a lot of people don't know, majority of the guys in Los Angeles was born in Louisiana, or they's from Louisiana. Because I have a big family from Louisiana, and one day I'll be able to go back and be able to do things in Louisiana. But I just wanted to talk about Baton Rouge, and how Baton Rouge got one of the most dangerous prisons in Louisiana, which is Angola. I think it's in Louisiana somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, but I kind of like grew up in Lafayette, Alexander, and I ended up being in Pollock and the prison system. But the prison system in Louisiana is way different than any other prison system I've been into. But to make this guy Flav is one of the guys that we always talked about coming home, and he didn't. When they found out I was from Louisiana, they accepted me in, and they knew I was from California, LA, and they knew that I got busted in Texas, and they knew that I was born in Louisiana, but I was raised in Los Angeles, and we all kind of like became a family. Because one thing about people from Louisiana, we have a thing where we all, like pretty much the same kind of food, and we always be into the culture. And we always be talking about the Mardi Gras. We always be talking about, going into Louisiana, you do the boot. And I ended up running into some other guys that was from Louisiana, and we all became a family, because they used to ask me, hey, Fish, how do you be getting visits down here in Pollock? And I used to say, man, my family's from Louisiana, and my mom lived right down the street. My cousin, Lisa, and all of them live right down the street from this prison. That's how come I be getting visits. And I'm going to continue to be getting visits here. But I'm actually, my father, his name is Johnny Calhoun, he's from Louisiana. But to make a long story short about this guy, Flav, I've been talking to him, and he got a nice book out, and he got a big family, got a lot of kids. And his brother, Rob, and the rest of his brothers, we all talking about putting some stuff together to be able to do a family reunion in Louisiana with the Baton Rouge and the Alexander, Natchitoches, Fisher, Zawali. We all gonna come together and do something with Flav. And I just wanted to let everybody know that this guy Flav is one of the most notorious guys I've met from Louisiana, and he's always been a friend of mine, and we've been in 4 or 5 prisons together, and we always gonna be together.